Some people wonder why in math we use letters. Some people are fine with using them. Some people really kind of don't like it psychologically or whatever, don't get the logic of it. But we need to step back and think about how knowledge and communication and thinking work in the first place. If we do that, we realize and we grasp, we see that as human beings, we name things. We have names for people, for different animals, for different plants. I'm sitting on a pine tree. There's an oak tree over there. We have names, nicknames, Bill, Leroy, the Lion-Hearted, all kinds of names like that. So we use letters for a lot of things, as we think and as we're human beings. So also we need to do that in math. There's a number we don't know, or a range of numbers. We have to call them a name. And it's just much more efficient to use a single letter instead of writing out a whole name for everything every time. Like you're trying to find Lion-Hearted or something. You wouldn't want to write that down every time. It's just better to use L or X for something you're trying to figure out, trying to calculate. So just remember, it's just basic human nature. We have to name things. We have to give a symbol, something, preferably simple and efficient for our thinking when we're working out math, physics, chemistry, applying some things in biology, accounting, economics, finance. Just the nature, the way we work and the way we think and process information. So hope that helps you understand why we use letters in math, just because of our nature. Hope you have a good day. If you have any comments or questions, just let me know. Thank you very much. In math too, we got some special numbers that we have to use a lot that we don't want to write out all the time. So since we have to do a lot of things with circles, and since the ideas having to do with circles come up in a lot of other areas of thought, trigonometry, physics, we use pi for 3.14159 and so on, 265. It would be really annoying to have to write the whole thing out every time. And it's not a specific fraction or whole number, so it's much easier and more efficient to use pi. I don't know, you can think about pi like p, like perimeter, kind of perimeter, so to speak, of a circle. Having to relate to that, I'm not sure exactly where the pi comes from, why that in particular. And we also use E and I in math. E 2.718281828. That's an important number in lots of mathematical computations. E for maybe exponential function. Having to do a lot of stuff with logs and exponentials. It's important in physics and chemistry. A lot of calculus. We really need to know that number. And then we have I. Instead of writing out square root of -1 every time for this number-like thing, we just write I, and that came from a misunderstanding about what some things were. I think it was like I for imaginary. You have supposedly real numbers and imaginary numbers, but that word and terminology came about from just some philosophical misunderstandings and flaws, some bad philosophy, thinking about some of the math in terms of bad philosophy. So, in math too, we got pi and E and I. We have to use letters to name these numbers because it's easier than writing out like square root of -1 every time, for example, or 3.14159, 265. So, as human beings, that's what we need to do.